When my boy Duran hit me up, it was the night before the Trump rally. And he calls me and he's like, yo Larry, we're hitting up the Trump rally, he's coming to Madison. Do you want to come through? I'm like, what? What do you mean Trump is coming to Madison? And you're trying to go through? There is no situation. They are slapping people in broad daylight. I am not going to the Trump rally, right? Yeah. I mean, you see it on the media, you hear it on the news of just all this aggression and all this hate and animosity that's going on at the Trump rally. And my first reaction was like, there's no situation to where I actually go to a Trump rally. I think one of the last videos I actually saw at the Trump rally with me trying to catch up was this girl who said that she was sexually assaulted by this random guy in the crowd. And she was there supporting Black Lives Matter, and in a place where you feel like you should feel safe and at least have some sense of your independence per se. She was sexually assaulted at a rally, and the people around her were spitting hate. They weren't trying to hear her opinion because she was there supporting Black Lives Matter, but they were so focused on what she was trying to support, they just missed the fact that this girl was sexually assaulted in a public crowd. And besides actually looking towards the guy who actually assaulted her, they're looking towards the girl, focusing in on that hate, you know, like it's just a bad environment that these Trump rallies have been giving off, and I truly felt like I didn't want to be a part of that. But as I kind of thought about it, I thought about different situations in history where people have submerged themselves in situations to more so try to see both sides of the story, for lack of a better word. And so I gradually found myself changing my mind, having a change of heart on me going to the Trump rally. But now the question is, if I did go to the Trump rally, who would I go as? Right now in the media, you have a lot of our brothers and sisters who are going in there. Black Panthers, Black Lives Matters, all very, very great institutions to support, and I do support them. Those institutions don't necessarily cause great dialogue at a Trump rally. There's a lot of hate and there's a lot of separation that can come from that. While the point to be made by Black Lives Matter and the Black Panthers is important and it is evident and it does need to be addressed, I had to come to terms with, am I going to go as this person who is stuck on one specific subject, or am I going to go as something else? And as I thought it through, I wanted to have a very objective, very open conversation about why are you supporting Trump? And it's my actual belief that everybody who supports Trump isn't necessarily a racist. They're just tired of a certain thing, and I'm wanting to get to the bottom of what that thing is that will cause you to want to vote for a man who is provoking this type of atmosphere in the United States as we speak. So I made a decision. By me showing up, I'm already making a statement as a black man. By me showing up, you already assume that these are certain things that I support. And so I decided to put on two faces, or both faces rather. The face that I was born with and the face of someone who was coming to hear someone else's side of an opinion. And with that, I made my decision to actually go to the Trump rally to see what people had to say.
Basically for you, I understand that you're a Trump supporter and you're just kind of on the fence, not too sure
not
which
sure.
way to go with it. And so why Trump? What do you think he could bring to the country?
All right. Trump, first off, I have a couple points. Number one, he's not a politician.
Okay.
And I think most people would agree, Democrat and Republican, that they are tired of having politicians that are not doing anything. Because we have politicians every day. Hey, tell us this, but what happens? It never gets done. So first off, Trump, I think this is the first guy that I actually can believe what he says he'll do.
Okay.
It's big because a lot of people won't come out and say that, hey, I'm going to do this, and we'll actually do it. But I think he's finally tired of how this country is being run right now, and I think he wants to make a change. So,
okay.
Number two, I will say, I'm going to tell you what I disagree with Trump on. I might as well.
Okay,
I'm not 100% fully agree. Everything Trump, pro-Trump, everything.
Right.
I think that his issue with immigration, I think the U.S. does have a problem with immigration.
Absolutely.
Also, it's a big problem, but does it have to be so an extreme? Do you have to go to the extreme to fix the problem? Yes.
Okay.
But is the extreme going, hey, sending everybody back, that 10 million immigrants, not just Hispanics that are illegal, because there's many illegal immigrants here besides Hispanics.
Right.
And then send them all back to their country, wherever they're all at, and then build a big wall and keep them all out.
All right.
No, I don't think that's the best solution to the problem. So, and then also Trump, I like it that, how would I say it? He understands, I think he understands all aspects of society.
Okay.
And he's for helping the very bottom of society, the homeless on the streets. Like as he said in one of his debates, I would help the guy that needs to be helped on the streets, and also I would help the richest guy that needs help. So I think he knows the aspects of all business, and I think, and also the U.S. government can basically be looked at as being a big business.
Yeah.
Literally, that's what it is. Has to do with money, has to do with managing all that. So Trump has a proven record of running a business properly. He has multiple businesses that employ tens of thousands of people, and they are doing great. So if I think he can run those businesses, he can also run the U.S.
Okay.
And I think he'll be a great leader. I think there's some things that he could change, but I'm saying, hey, he has his own opinion just as much as I have my own opinion.
Okay.
So that's mine.
Okay, definitely.
Right.
And with you kind of being on the fence of not knowing who to choose on either
I'm
side.
probably not voting for Trump due to his illegal immigration policies.
Okay.
I think they're a little harsh. I mean, you can't just kick everyone out like that. They have families here. I mean, my girlfriend's an illegal immigrant, and it wasn't her choice either. She was brought here by her parents when she was young. So it's not like everyone has a choice on how their life is right now. So,
right.
I mean, hundreds of years ago, everybody migrated here to the United States. So why was there a wall built across the ocean to stop people from coming in? You know, it's the same thing. But I think if he would change his immigration policies, then maybe I could vote for him. But it's just up in the air right now. But I doubt he'll change that. So for now, I'm for Rubio. And he says that he wants to send all illegal immigrants back. But the thing is, when he built the Trump Towers, he used illegal immigrants to build it. He did that, and also the way he makes his clothes and his products, he uses factories in Mexico and other factories across the world.
So that brings the process of being two-faced.
So
this, but also that.
Do you like him or do you not like him? Where are you standing at, Trump? You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
All right, thank you.
Y'all paying for the wall.
All right.
Thank you. Not paying for the wall.
You are.
We're not. So yeah, maybe if he'll change that status, then maybe I could get his vote. But if not, I won't vote for him probably.
Got you.
So yeah, but I think on other terms, he's doing great on other terms. I mean, he's trying to take the corrupt out of the White House and the Senate and everything. I think it's very corrupt right now. He doesn't, when he speaks, he doesn't need money to speak or followers. He doesn't buy his fans or whatever you want to call them, his followers, because other politicians don't have money like him. So they want to say nice things to get the people's attention and get their votes, but Trump doesn't need that. So he just speaks up the truth and says what it is.
I'll say it so as any of the debates, I'll bring the Hopper debate up. So in any of the debates, who gets booed the most? Donald Trump, correct? So Donald Trump gets booed the most because he is not funded by any other outside sources. Every other candidate is funded by outside sources, and the people that fund him tell them what to say. And Donald Trump supports himself, and he can say whatever the heck he wants to say, because he's not scared of losing money or losing funding. So he's going to get booed more because he's going to tell people exactly what they don't want to hear sometimes. So hey.
So in Donald Trump's case, you feel like because he's self-financed, because he's not taking necessarily maybe too many benefits from other people, that he can speak his mind more freely than others might who actually have
that is agreed.
investments in other companies and so on.
Another reason why Trump wants to kick out the illegal immigrants is because he says they're sucking out tax money and they're they're gaining money for like their work and their jobs and stuff, but they're not paying taxes. But then you have people who live off of welfare and they're sucking off money off the government. So, and I mean, it's out of ignorance too. I mean, hey, if Obama's giving out free money, who's not stupid enough to take it? If he's stupid enough to give out money, then I'm stupid enough to take it.
I don't blame people for taking the money that's out there given to them. And also, a lot of people don't realize, but it is cheaper for us as Americans and the U.S. government to grant amnesty to every illegal immigrant than to send them back. It would cost us more to send them back to their countries.
That's interesting.
Than to leave them here. Yeah, we study. Yeah.
It's way cheaper to just grant them amnesty over a certain period of time and make them do the paperwork than just to send them out.
So when I first heard about the Donald Trump rally, it was actually from one of our friends named Chris Johnson, who put it in a group chat, and it was just the ad for it, and they were like, so do you guys want to go to this? And my immediate response was, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, because this is exactly what I want to do with my life at this moment. Because I had seen all of the videos of Donald Trump and all of the hateful rhetoric that he spews, and how many people honestly agree with him, and I would see him and it would make me so angry. And my original plan was to be hired by him as, like, you know, a maid or like a food server, and then I would make a huge deal and quit, you know, and make a huge scene, because he would be mad that I got something wrong, like no salt in his chicken. And I would just throw everything on the ground and I'd be like, I quit, you know. So this was the next best thing. And so I was really excited. I was really excited to go. And I was excited to protest. I had my signs ready and everything. I knew exactly what I was going to say. I knew exactly what my signs were going to say. I was either going to have one, I was going to make multiple signs and pass them out, but I was going to have one that said, we stand with our Muslim brothers and sisters. I thought of another one that says, America includes me. And then one addressing the comments that he made about Mexican Americans being, or Mexicans who come to America being rapists and drug dealers and things like that. And so that was my original plan. And then I spoke to my friend Camille, and she was basically saying that I should rethink this. That I should think about, instead of going to protest, just going to speak to people. And so I thought about it, I sat down, I did a lot of reflection, and I decided that that would be a good idea. I think that would be the best way to make a huge impact, right? And so I went there, I tried to look nice, and I went there with a very positive attitude, almost to the point of being delusional, really. But I feel like in order to get through something like that, you kind of have to set your mind to the most positive outcome. And when we first got there, it was great. We talked to people, they spoke to us, and one thing that really stood out to me was a lot of the things that they wanted were so similar to the things that I wanted. Job security. They were talking a lot about like corporate greed and corporate accountability in a capitalist nation and things like that, which are all things that are very important to me, especially being from, I live in Silicon Valley. And so one of the huge things that we talk about in regards to gentrification is people moving into San Francisco, into Oakland, and essentially uprooting minorities and forcing them to move other places. So we talk about that same corporate greed, you know, issue, that same issue. So we wanted a lot of the same things, but we were on such opposite sides of the spectrum as far as who we were supporting and who we were voting for and who we believed would be able to give us the things that we need. So that was one huge thing that stood out to me, the amount of similarities that we have, which gave me hope, hope for the future, hope that if we can work together, we can get something done. So we got in there, spoke to a lot of people, and then that's when the people with the Black Lives Matter poster came out. It was about 4 people. I think there were 30,000 people who registered. And if you've ever wanted to feel like a minority in any room, I would definitely say go to a Trump rally. Because we were surrounded by Caucasian people. Not to say that it was a bad thing, but that was just a demographic of the event. And so we got there and we were speaking to people, and then they brought out their Black Lives Matter poster. On the other side it said, what about the middle class? And so when I saw that, my heart dropped. I immediately had anxiety, and I was like, what's going to happen? And so we were at the top of the bleachers, so the people on the field had a clear shot of the poster. And so when they saw it, they started screaming, "All lives matter," right? "All lives matter, all lives matter." And people started to run up to them and point in their faces and yell at them, "All lives matter, all lives effing matter, who do you think you are," right? And with a statement like "all lives matter," a statement that should be so genuine and so pure because it's not wrong, right? It's not wrong at all. All lives do truly, truly, truly matter, and I believe that with all my heart. But for me to use a statement like Black Lives Matter, for me to present a statement to you like Black Lives Matter, and to be asking you to simply hear me, for me to say Black Lives Matter, to say that my life is valid, my experience is valid, that my voice matters, my life matters, my children matters, my brothers matter, and then to have it be met with such anger and such hatred and such, I think that we hear each other often without actually listening to what we have to say. And so to see a statement like Black Lives Matter, a statement that was so genuine and so pure, because Donald Trump often doesn't address black issues, to see it met with such hatred was discouraging, and it made me very, very sad. And then people started to run up to them, and they would grab the sign and try to grab it, and someone ended up ripping the sign, and he still held it up like with pride, and they ended up kicking him out, essentially, and still screaming at him. And I remember standing there and looking at him and putting my fist in the air like, "I see you, continue, I see you." And he looked down at me and he nodded, and I just started to tear up because I was like, this is America. This is America. I should have the right to free speech. I should be able to say that I matter here in this country where I am a citizen of, and not have it be met with such anger. Someone should hold my hand and tell me that I'm an American too, that I'm valid too, but it wasn't. So I started to tear up, and this old white woman started rubbing my arm, and I started to cry even harder, and she said, "Don't worry, baby girl, not everyone feels that way." And so at this point, I'm crying. I'm just crying. And at that point, they ended up kicking out everyone who had a sign, essentially. There was one that said "Veterans Against Hate Speech." They kicked them out. There was one that said, I think it was "We Stand With Our Muslim Brothers and Sisters" also. They kicked them out. And it was discouraging. It was discouraging, to say the least. And upon leaving, me and my friend walked out of the stadium, and we saw the people who were holding the signs that talked about "Veterans Against Hate Speech" and "We Stand With Our Muslim Brothers and Sisters." Because at first we couldn't see what the sign said as they were being kicked out, but I was still screaming like, "This is America. They have the right to free speech. Let them stay." And no one was listening. No one was listening. And so when we walked back out and we saw what their sign said, we started crying all over again. Because it was like, wow, this is what we're against. This is what we're against. Vets Against Hate Speech. We stand with our Muslim brothers and sisters, Muslim Americans who have just as much of a right to feel safe in America as we do. So that was my experience. That was it.
So why do you feel it's important to be here today?
I think, this election, no matter who wins, it's going to be really important.
Pivotal.
Pivotal part. Our country's in a direction where it can change, go any way, really. And so I want to be here with everybody that's here just to see what he has to say. But I also do support him, so I want to be here for that as well.
Okay, cool. And so as far as the election goes, why Trump and why not Rubio? Why not Cruz? Why not any of the others?
I'm a little tired of politicians, like a lot of people who support Trump. A lot of times they'll cover up stories. They'll tell you what you want to hear, not really what's the truth. Trump, you don't have to worry about that. He's not in it for the politics. He's not in it just to get elected. He wants to get elected truly to make America great again.
Okay.
I mean, he's a businessman making millions, even billions of dollars. There's no reason he should be in an election unless he wanted to make a difference. He could be making millions, a lot more money, being a businessman than he could being in politics. He's going to make $400,000 as president. That's pocket change to him.
That's pocket change, sure.
Yeah. So
sure.
The only reason he's doing this is because he wants to make the country great again, and that's something that I respect.
Now, one thing that I feel like I worry about is sometimes maybe it feels like it can be a little un-American. And what do you maybe say to critics who feel like his policies, maybe some of the things that he says are maybe a little inflammatory and not as, because when I think of making America better, I think of like holding hands and being like together as a group. And if it maybe alienates people who are on the other side of things.
I think the thing is, he is a little harsh with his words.
Okay.
He's not a politician. He doesn't have an advisor who's telling him what to say. He just speaks his mind. There are some issues sometimes with that because people get offended. But at the end of the day, the people that aren't here illegally, a lot of times, we want them to be here. He wants them to be here, but he wants them to be here legally rather than, just crawling through a hole in a fence or places that aren't even fence, walking in. He wants to welcome them into this country, but do it the right way, the legal way. If I'm here paying taxes, I'm sure you're here paying taxes. Why would all these other people be able to just get a random job here and not pay taxes?
Okay.
If they're reaping the benefits of America, they need to come here the right way and pay into what they're benefiting from.
Okay. Well, you've heard it here. Promising engineer.
Oh, yes.
What field are you going into?
I'm going into mechanical engineering.
Mechanical.
And defense specifically, so protecting the country, military stuff.
All right.
That's what I like.
Well, congratulations
Thank you very
to
much.
you.
Thank
That's
you.
very exciting.
Thank you.
A couple years from now, we'll see you at the top.
Yeah. Hopefully so.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. What could Trump say today that would secure your vote? What could he actually say to persuade you today?
Honestly, I don't know if he could say anything. I think it's really what he does, because I'm big on like a person's words or their actions speaks a lot louder. Like if you listen to things that Hillary Clinton is saying, she's really saying a lot of the same stuff he's saying. Like I think yesterday I heard Bill Clinton say the same thing this young man when he interviewed him.
Right.
He said we want these people to get here legally and not get jobs better than the people that were already here.
That are here.
So that's no different what Trump has said.
Right.
So we're sitting here backing Hillary Clinton, but we also have to look at the things that she has not said. She said she was for blacks, but yet when she was, the senator of New York, why hasn't she mentioned the things that she's done for us?
Sure.
We have, and I've been to 4 of her campaigns, and I have yet to hear her say what she's done for us in New York. If you've done that less than 10 years ago, why not brag on those things?
Okay.
So since she hadn't said that, it makes me wonder, is she going to abandon us?
Okay. And you feel like Trump might have that the black vote?
Oh, of course. Like, I actually did a story about power and influence with Trump, and I was very surprised at how many blacks actually supported Trump.
Really?
And it's not necessarily this upper echelon blacks. It's a diversity of black people who really do support Trump. Not saying that I do, but I think we really, Trump has a sign that says the silent majority supports him. And just from me observing him at the last 2 campaigns, that's true.
Yeah.
You guys would be really surprised at how many people just looking around you really do endorse Donald Trump silently.
Yeah.
And, we may say we're Hillary and all of this publicly, but what happens when you go to the polls? Who are you really going to vote for?
Okay.
And that's the thing that makes me wonder what's going to happen in 2016.
The Trump rally happened in the first week of March. That was spring break at Oakwood University, and I first heard about it via the NAACP chapter at Oakwood University. So the object of this entire experience was to really listen to what's being called the silent majority. I tried to prepare myself mentally, I tried to prepare myself emotionally to really step outside of myself and to listen to the concerns of someone else and to try to be just an objective listener, because I feel like that's something that's missing in the world, are people that are just willing to listen. I didn't want to pass judgments. I didn't want to make, resounding statements about people's character, because I understand that people have legitimate reasons for questioning everything. The 2016 election is pivotal for not only America, but I really believe that it's pivotal for the world and the way that we're going to shape our entire future. So going to a Trump rally was something that I was willing to experience with my friends, and a way to really get a sense of the temperature of the South, of people with these really loud concerns. So we went, and I think the first thing that I kind of realized is that people were so nice. These are the people that would let you skip them in a grocery store line because you had less items. These are the people who, you know, have kids, who have dreams, who have families, who are decent and nice people. And I wouldn't want to discount anyone who's gone to a Trump rally as someone who's just dumb, because I don't think it's proper, I don't think it's fair, and I would never want to discount someone's emotions. So I didn't go with that type of mindset, but these were generally decent, nice, polite, and respectful people. And the part that makes me so sad about Donald Trump as a whole is that he, in his entire 45-minute speech, he did not once mention, I don't think, a problem that anyone in the crowd ever had the privilege of dealing with. He talked about the issues of the 1%. He talked about his displeasure with the media, with the press, his hate of journalists, his hate of being what he would call being persecuted, which is very insulting to, I believe, people who are really looking for him for answers. Donald Trump does not care about poor people. He doesn't care about minorities. I really do believe that he cares about himself. And for me, it's disheartening because, you know, as a woman, as a black person, as a millennial, you know, there are many issues that you think I'd be concerned with, but I think first and foremost, I care about people who are marginalized and people who are poor. To be poor in the United States it's an awful thing. It's an awful thing to be poor in a capitalist society where people just expect for you to make opportunities for yourself when you've never had the chance to do those things for yourself. And you know, I would say worse off than people who are black and poor, people who are Hispanic and poor, people who have traditionally had advocates. It's to be very poor and to be white in America. You are really at the bottom, I believe, and I think a lot of the cries of the silent majority that we hear are really people who, again, who are not into politics, but they just need help. They just need help. And to see them kind of rally behind someone who doesn't even have to promise them safety or security, who would never even promise them a future or resources, it really saddens me to see them rally behind this guy. So, those are my thoughts.
Hello, my name is Duran, and I'm here with Eric. He's actually from Norway. So, you know, just sitting here watching the Trump rally, how were you feeling? And, like, you know, what are some things that you saw?
Well, the thing that I will remember the most was the very peaceful protest of the Black Lives Matter movement up here in the stands, which I watched very close, and which was both very powerful to see and also quite disturbing to see the reaction from some of the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And
Got you. So a question, as far as like you coming all the way here from Norway to see a Trump rally.
Yeah.
Like what did you expect to see here?
I think first and foremost it's important to say that I'm here because this is obviously he's a popular guy. It's an important phenomenon, and I think it's very important for us as Europeans, as Norwegians, to understand why that is. And I think that some of the things that I think he plays a lot on fear and anger, and I think it's important to try to understand where that fear and anger comes from, because I don't think like all Trump supporters are bad people or anything like that.
Gotcha.
I think it's there's a reason for the anger and the fear that he uses to be as popular as he is right now.
Got you. So, seeing the whole, I think you said you saw something with a peaceful protest with the Black Lives Matter. What is your take on that?
I think, first of all, I think it takes a lot of courage to stand up there with that sign, and you see from the reaction from the crowd that it's obviously a very unpopular thing to do. And people were tearing their sign apart, and I think in the 21st century it's kind of disturbing, and in America that prides itself with freedom of speech, I think it's very disturbing to see that kind of reaction, and I felt kind of shaky up there, and that was not only from the cold wind.
Wow, excellent. I mean, me being a black student, being here and just like witnessing and actually documenting this, it's interesting just to see like the different reactions from both spectators and both people who are just trying to protest and stuff like that as well. And then just like the rude comments, I've heard one person say something like, you guys are, you belong, you need to go and, clean the bathrooms. That's where you guys are supposed to be. And I think that's abrupt. I mean, you have a peaceful protest, it should be something that, you have a little bit of understanding. Like they're peacefully, putting what they feel like they should be putting out there. And, it hurts to see that.
For me as well, as a European, it really does. And I think it goes to show that the US still has a long way to go when it comes to racial justice, and that's why it's so important that people like the guys up there, like the activists of the Black Lives Matter movement, dares to actually stand up and show that they're here, and that takes a lot of courage, so I'm very impressed by that.
Definitely. But thank you so much for all your questions.
No worries, man.
And it was nice meeting you. And I hope you enjoy America, even from seeing what you've seen so far. So
I do.
Excellent. So, all right, thanks.
Good guys.
I think the first thing I remember feeling from that day was pain. It wasn't like a hurting pain, it was more so like an emotional pain. Like I couldn't believe what I was actually getting myself into, or what I was into. One of the most memorable points on that day was walking through the crowd, just leaving, and just seeing a bunch of human beings just gather around for a cause, but I'm not too fully sure if that cause is the right cause that it should be for. And that's my opinion, of course. And I just remember me and Larry just walking through, exiting the platform and what have you, and just being able to see just different faces and like the different emotions on each faces. Some faces some faces filled with like like they were filled with ecstatic, or like they were happy in a sense, and then some faces is filled with like anger and fervor, like they were ready for war or something like that. And I remember kind of feeling like I was Ruby Bridges, like just walking through, going to public school for the first time when it was integrated, but it didn't feel integrated at all. And like the first time I find myself in America actually feeling not like an American, like I didn't belong here, that I didn't belong to be a part of what America is supposed to stand for, which is freedom. And I don't know, I thought about all those things while I was walking out, and it just didn't click for me. It wasn't there for me. I remember, there were some students from A&M, and I believe one Oakwood student who got kicked out of the Trump rally because they were protesting Black Lives Matter. And then I could just remember the crowd just like screaming out,
all lives matter, just missing the complete point of what the Black Lives Matter movement actually means. You know, they went straight to, you know, thinking that we were against all human beings, but more so we're just trying to speak for a portion of the human race that doesn't get seen at all, and, you know, trying to strive for equality, not only for just whites and other of those in the majority, but, you know, striving for the rights for minority people, not just only blacks. And you could just see the faces of people like they were ready for war, like we were there to, you know, destroy their world and their dream of a greater America. And when I think of a greater America, I think of integration, I think about togetherness, I think about love. And I didn't feel that, and I don't think that the Trump rally actually encompassed any of that. And I mean, you know, one of the things that I just dislike personally myself with, you know, Trump's views to a better America is this wall to take out, this wall to basically to take out the Mexicans from being able to come into the country to and from easier. I mean, I get the whole concept, you know, drugs and, you know, illegal items and stuff are easily coming in and out through Mexico, but the fact that there are families and that have family that, you know, needs to go to and from without it being so much extra stuff having to go through a wall and things like that, I think that's kind of ridiculous. And when you think about America being built up, I think about Mexicans. To this day, Mexicans, they're the ones kind of building our buildings, you know what I'm saying? They're the ones who are putting the work in for those type of things, and I think that they're helping us as America to develop as in a sense as well. The only down part about it, I mean, yeah, they are taking a lot of jobs, but when I think about America, I think about freedom, and I think about equality, and I feel like if a job was there for a person to go and get, they can go and get it. And to be able to stop a certain race, or to only pick out on a certain race just because you feel like they're taking away from jobs, I feel like that's kind of ignorant in a sense. But I'm not gonna tarry on that too much. I just feel a lot of pain and a lot of emotions kind of flow. You know, I still, the first thing that comes to my mind is emotional pain. But yeah, if there's anything that I can tell a group of people, and specifically this group of people I'm talking about right now, are the youth, the young people of this day and age, people not only my age, I'm 23, but also people that's younger than this. You know, you're 14, 13, 12, 10, 7, and you have something that needs to be said about this presidential campaign. Speak out. Get a camera if that's the way that you can. You know, go and speak to somebody in your school. Have discussions to other people, and just wake up. Like it's a time now where more than ever that young people, we need to be heard. We need to have a voice in today's time. Like, so many things are passing and we don't know anything about it. Or there's some that do know about what's going on, and they don't want to speak on it. And it's so vital, it's so important that young people go out there and they speak up in whatever way that you decide to speak. If it's through voting, if it's through social media, if it's through just, you know, talking to your fellow man, speak up on your views, speak up on what you believe, and get your word out. Another addition to that is read. Know what is going on right now in today's society. Understand what's going on in today's society, grasp it, understand it, and find a change in yourself that you can make yourself a better person. And by doing so, it's just multiple changes that will happen in your surroundings, your friends, your co-workers, the people you see on the train or just strolling, walking by. They see and they feel that difference in your presence and your energy. So don't take it for granted for bettering yourself. Take the time to read. This generation doesn't read. Everything is fast-paced, and we don't take the time to just to build our minds, to self-educate. And self-education is completely important. And once we miss that, we miss development of society. We miss development of not only the black race, but also other minorities out there as well. So speak up, read up, and be blessed up. I see you.